My name is Vignesh. I work as technologist at SFLC.in. I hope I'm audible enough to everyone. Uh, we have been celebrating Open Source Week as UN has announced Open Source Week, and we have been conducting panel discussions throughout the week, and we have come to our last but not the least, panel discussion. Today's topic is on democratizing communications and infrastructure. Will the importance of software, open source, all of that has been there for some time, but then we have all seen the software has been very centralized and the technology has become very centralized despite being open source. That's where the need for decentralization of such technology has emerged, and people have been working on various kinds of decentralized technologies, and through which the power of the open source software or free software has been distributed along which were uh, centralized at some point of time. So that's exactly why we are gonna see today why decentralized technologies are important, uh, especially how it is important for the democracy itself and how it is aligned with democracy. Um, and to talk about that, we have today Mr. Ravi Dwivedi from PRAV. Ravi Dwivedi is the CEO of PRAV Cooperative. PRAV um, is a team of people, cooperative, which works on providing decentralized communications, um, and it's built in India uh, completely, and it has been working on the XMPP technology. We'll further look into more details on PRAV as Ravi Dwivedi starts speaking. But um, it's also Prague is as cooperative, they have been aiming to challenge the monopoly of WhatsApp and other centralized messaging platforms, and to provide a user-friendly and privacy-respecting chat services as much as possible. Um, as well as we have our other guest, Nuruddin. Nuruddin is a software engineer from Janastu Servlots. Janastu Servlots is another organization in Karnataka which has been working on bringing, they have been working in the grassroots level in bringing technology to um, the the people who don't have don't have much reach towards the technology, or at least they don't have the accessibility towards the technology, uh, and Janastu and Servlots have been bringing such technologies customized to those people who don't have the traditional way of technology. And I have personally seen them working on and bringing networks to places where there are no mobile network penetrations, and they have successfully done it in near Tumkur. And also Nuruddin is a person who is interested in decentralized technology, decentralization of technology, and understanding its power dynamics along with it. I welcome you both to today's panel. Welcome Ravi, welcome Nuruddin. Starting with Ravi, if you can introduce yourself. If I have missed anything, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for inviting me in this panel. My name is Ravi, and as Vignesh introduced me, I work for the PROV project, and currently we are building the cooperative behind the project. Okay, so let me give you a short overview of what the project is. So I have a graphic to show, which which will illustrate the Federation of Providers in Prague. So what I mean is, when you can anyone use WhatsApp to talk to Telegram users, or can you use Telegram to message WhatsApp users? Uh, Usually no, right? So
Yes, yes, we cannot.
usually the messaging apps, they allow you to text with their like you need to have their app to text other person, right? So but in XMPP, the protocol PRAV is based on, it's not necessarily one provider or one app which which has to be installed. For example, there is Quixi app on Play Store, and we also have Prav app. So if you have Prav installed and if you have a friend with Quixi installed, you can still talk to each other. So the person who has Quixi installed, they don't have to install Prav in order to talk to you. So it's similar to how SMS works. For example, if I have an Airtel number and you have a BSNL number, I can still talk to you without having a BSNL SIM, right? So that gives you a freedom of service providers, and that's what XMPP is all about, giving freedom of service providers in the messaging app. And this is what we call federation. That I think this is what Vignesh mentioned when he mentioned the word federation. So that's the basic idea behind the XMPP technology.
Definitely, Ravi. Yeah. So as well as I want to, Nuruddin, if you could introduce yourself if I have missed something, and your work at Janastu, that would be. Unfortunately, Nuruddin would not be able to turn on his camera as he is in a place where there's not much, network. So we'll have to work with that.
Yeah, mm, so that's a quite an introduction which Vignesh gave. So I think I'll add Janasu more when we start to do the presentation and all those things. So yeah, so are we starting the presentation?
Yeah, definitely, Nuruddin. And going forward, I have few questions for you. I wanted to understand that we know that the core concept of democracy is to provide the rights and power to the hands of people, individuals, the citizens, uh, to as much as possible, or as much as needed at least. On the other hand, the contradictory concept is the totalitarian or dictatorship, where all the power, control, and rights are reserved and controlled by one certain entity or person. That becomes a centralized way of working. Uh, in a democratic, society we live in currently, how do you think even this centralized way of, quite contradictory to democratic way of working, how could this centralized platform even, emerged in the first place? Because we all know the way email worked, it wasn't a centralized way of communication. It was pretty much decentralized and federated. Yet we are in now certain era where most of these, technologies are, or at least have become, or transformed into a centralized way. Because why I'm saying that has been transformed, because we also know that WhatsApp was once an XMPP based technology, but it has now been, been a centralized way of communication. So any remarks on that, both Ravi and Noordin?
So earlier, these chat apps, like as you mentioned, WhatsApp and Google Chat, and I don't know what they call it, G Chat or something, uh, and I think even Facebook Messenger. They all were, and Yahoo had their own chat application or chat portal or something. So they were all. I'm talking about around 2010s. They were all based on XMPP. So if you had, yeah, Praveen mentioned Google Docs. So when you install one of them, that was enough to talk to other people on the XMPP network. So if you had a Yahoo account, you didn't need to have a Google account, and vice versa. But then slowly these companies started building their own. Uh, I mean, they started closing down what we say their apps and services. So Google Talk at one point. did not allow people to talk to other XMPP services. Okay, and WhatsApp, I think right now WhatsApp is also an XMPP service even now, but it's just not federated. Like basically, it does not allow you to talk to other providers. So, in short, I think it's because a few companies, due to the dominance of a few companies and this attention economy, and people not paying attention to these things as well. I mean, I think I keep meeting people who think that this all is good. They think that WhatsApp is doing something good. Whatever WhatsApp does, if they integrate payments, if they make any new decision, if they roll out something new, they think it's for their uh, like it does something good for the society or something. So it's also about I think the what do you say, lack of awareness. So the lack of awareness is really high. I mean, the awareness is really low about these things and how these things mingle with politics and democracy and other things. So just to answer the question, how these things become that way, my opinion is that people have not been paying attention, and they just are used to using these free services, free of cost services. They want to just go and search on Google. They don't think about why it's free of cost and what are the trade-offs. And that's, I think, basically the internet is today.
Definitely. I mean, I understand lack.
Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, no, you're audible. I think Vignesh is not audible. Vignesh.
My
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
yes,
Okay, there has been a power cut in the where is Vignesh living at this time. He has we can move forward with the session. He has shared the questions and discussion points with me. Uh, Hi Praveen. Hi Ravi. Hi Noor. Are you there? I cannot see Ravi. Okay.
yes, yes.
Hi.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So you're presenting the screen, right? You were asking for the permission. You got the permission for the presenter. Hello.
Who is requesting for press screen sharing?
Okay, okay. Sorry. Let me. Okay. Yeah, I have made the presenter know.
Mm, so how to share my screen in this?
Uh, there will be a small printing icon in the corner of the. Can see.
There is minimize
There is a board,
presentation.
blackboard sign on your screen. Blackboard sign.
Okay.
You can.
Uh, no, it is still showing the poster you are sharing.
There is a blackboard sign in the option. Vignesh, if you are, can you help him with the?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, okay, great.
Is my screen audio? So I'll directly talk. So we'll discuss more. I'll quickly do the presentation. Is that okay?
Hi, hi, no, your voice is very low. Can we speak up a little bit?
Am I is my now?
Yes, now you are audible.
Okay. So I'll directly talk. So I think there's some network issue so that I couldn't do the presentation. So yeah. So I'll give quick introduction to the about and when we discuss about it. So Genestu started uh, in 1990 in 1999 by the group of computer scientists where they want to provide software tools which is like in low cost and very efficient in India. And and during tsunami 2004 tsunami, they realized that they need to do this mesh network. So because mesh, so there is this centralized. So I'll quickly give what is network and what is web, since there can be non-tech people in this also in this. So when we talk about internet, so there is a difference between internet and web. So, but most people use it interchangeably, but there is a distinct difference. So internet, we can think it as some infrastructure, like the roads we have, railway track, and all those things. So the in technical word, it is routers, servers, cables, and all those things, switches, and all those things. And web, when we talk about web, it is about the protocol which run on top of internet. So we can see internet as a hardware and web as a software which run on top of the hardware. And so when we talk about this protocol, XMPP, HTTP, and all those protocol, which and there are a lot of protocols which runs on top of internet. So that's why we call browser browser, because we are accessing web content through browser, and internet is the infrastructure. And so so I'll quickly answer the question which Vignesh asked before. So the origin of internet is from the ARPA. So it was before ARPANET, and then so there's a long history about the how internet came to public. So internet by design itself is decentralized. There can be many network, and each network is connected. So it is called internet. In short, it is we can think it as an international network where there are different networks and it with each other. So that is internet. And so there's a history where it was before ARPANET, and then it when they started to commercialize it, and then it became like many commercial internet service providers started to come in, and then it became a commercial product. And during 90s, so they call it as a bubble.com bubble. So since during 90s, lot of uh, private companies started to create web products which run on top of the internet. Google started in 1998, I guess. Yeah, so there were a lot of companies, private companies started on top of the internet already existing. So by nature, by design, internet is decentralized. And when private companies started to so the idea of this Ignish was saying is also by default decentralized, where you can have a Gmail account, and you can have Yahoo, Hotmail, and lot other things, and they can all communicate with each other. So by design, the protocol is which we use for email is decentralized. But when private companies started to enter uh, this sector, they wanted to make lot of money, and to make lot of money, they have to become a monopoly. So even the by design, the protocol is decentralized. Some private entities become a monopoly. So we need to not only think about the infrastructure or the protocol, we also think about how this private corporates work. We also need to think about the alternative for the entity is working those things. So part of corporate, even internet is the how can uh, mm, how can a how can they do, like when governments decide to stop internet, how can they stop the internet if it is decentralized? And so so if we think about how if you want to create an alternative for this internet shutdown itself, and giving, so since it is decentralized in the sense every internet is decentralized in the sense every country have their own ISP, and there can be internet is owned by the corp, and each country in India, um, Tata owns the majority of the internet infrastructure. Geo owns the internet infrastructure, and many more. Geo and Airtel owns the internet infrastructure. So even though it is by design it is decentralized, so it is also monopolized by the corporate, even the internet. And that's how government can has the power to do shutdown by a single, like it. They have this switch where they, if you they want on it, the whole internet gone, it goes away. And for that, we need to bring that power of the power which government owns to the people, and mesh network is one of the alternative to bring back the power to the people, where community owns the infrastructure, the internet infrastructure itself. That's where this mesh network comes in. And there is this New York mesh, where their objective is to replace the whole internet service provider in New York. Where, so even though New York is a well developed city, the internet cost is very much, which non poor people cannot afford. The nearby villages people don't have internet in the New York, near in the New York City, near the New York City. Because one thing, internet service provider don't build infrastructure to provide internet for these villages, since in village there are very less people and profit out of them, so they about this rural people. And another thing is, even though if they provide internet, it is not affordable for them. Rural people in New York, is not, the internet is not affordable for them. That's why this New York mesh team started decided to replace the whole internet service provider, where they can extend these services to the village at low cost and using and all those things. That's the alternative for this internet service provider out, by internet itself more decentralized. So that is an in Genus 2, we work with the low literate communities, and so we moved. So we were in the Bangalore before, and we decided to move to Tumkur in a remote village to work with the community and be with. If we are in the in Bangalore, we will be sitting in the room, AC room, and we'll be thinking about the problems which rural people has. But when you go to field, it is completely different. So we decide to move to the rural village itself, and then work closely with them. And we we provide free internet to the villages in the rural network, where, as Vignesh said, they don't even have mobile signals. Since there is no mobile signals, they the it is no point itself. Just a keypad phone, you cannot do anything much. So most of the people here use keypad phone. They don't even have smartphones. They don't even have computers. And we decided to give free internet to them. And once and through mesh network, we have built this mesh network. Like from city, we use radio signal to bring the internet mountain, far away mountain, and from that mountain we distribute the internet through mesh network and mesh protocols. And once after we started to give internet, like internet access, we then realized that even with the internet, people couldn't access the knowledge which is in the internet. And then we realized that it is not just the internet problem, like internet access problem, it is more than that. One thing, when we talk about localization and all those things, so we think about localizing in the sense like translating in the local language. That is one kind of localization. And also we need to think about, so since we are working with the low literate communities, they cannot, low literate and semi literate communities. Semi literate, I mean uh, people who can read it, but they are not comfortable in reading long text, paragraph paras of text and all those things. So we call them as a semi-literate. Uh, we thought it is we it is there's a need to rethink the whole internet infrastructure and web content and everything, eh, from the perspective of the illiterate communities, rural illiterate working women. And so it is not, so by localization I don't mean by just the translation to the local language. It is also how we think about the UX and UI. Most of the platform we use are designed with the westernized perspective, and we all think one size fit for all approach. So which raises the question, why should a technology be the same for everyone when each region has a different language and culture? So by culture I mean, so we use this icon, like for delete we use this trash bin icon. So what does the trash bin icon means to the rural woman who doesn't have seen the trash bin before in her life? So we need to rethink all of those things. And yeah, that's what we need. I mean by localization, it is not just translating the local language. It is like creating from the local culture and perspective. So even so, when we think about building some softwares, we all have this normalized content which already Western. Like when we think about daily tech and we use this, when we think about UX, okay, it should be here, it should be a none. So we don't think much about why it should be here, it should be like this, and why this icon and all those things. So that's where we wanted to uh, rethink the whole infrastructure, the web and as well as the internet infrastructure. And we think about democratizing communication. So even I have this question, I'm just putting it out. Democracy means where no gender is equal, no community is equal in India. So democracy by means like giving power to the people and all those things. But so how does it works in the digital infrastructure when the segmented and unequal? So that's a question we also need to think about. Like open source community, we need to be thinking. Where when we even this open source democratizing infrastructure, it's all like started from the Western. So it's a good idea, but we need to think from the Indian perspective how what democratizing means in India, which most of the uh, open source communities lack. And with the local network, we have this local services running and exploring this decentralized federated protocols to run in local. Then we encountered that even this federated instance need internet to federate with each other, and we want it to be local so that they can all communicate within the network itself. They don't need to be heavily dependent on the internet. And if it is hosted and running in the local network, it needs a private IP, public IP, so that it can federate with the other internet instance.
Uh,
Local
Sorry
network
to,
doesn't have.
I have to interrupt you
Mm,
there. Now you have mentioned
mm,
about federated. This question is for both Ravi and Nurdin. I
mm,
Most of us though might know it, but there might be still a lot of people who might not have an understanding of what is decentralization, distribution, federation, and peer-to-peer. If you can tell me how these are different and how it is different from centralized structure in a very quick way, it would be helpful to further understand all the terminologies here. Going, especially to understand this technology itself, it would be helpful.
Yeah, so I think, like Ravi mentioned before, so I think Ravi has some slides to show about this, how this federation. Since I cannot share my PPT, Ravi, is that
I
okay?
have a graph. I don't have slides. I have a graphic which can clarify this.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
So, can you give me the presenter? I can just share the screen and show you.
Yes, Ravi, you're a presenter. Please
Okay,
go ahead.
so it is bottom right. Which option is there to?
You have a bottom left corner with a plus icon.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Share screen. No, I see upload manage presentations. Start a poll. Share an external video. Share cameras content.
Uh, you can press the plus icon and you can upload the presentation that it should appear.
Okay, that's just an image, so that will work.
Yeah, yeah, even in, yeah, yeah, it'll work.
Hmm. I'm using the blue button after that. Okay, so it uploaded.
Yes, yes.
So, in this graphic, the center icon is the Prague service, and others are, for example, just above it is the D symbol, which is the
Right.
disroute.org service. There's also Macau service. So there are all these XMPP services, uh, and they're connected to each other via line, which means that if you have account on any of the server, you can chat with any other person on the XMPP network. So they are all connected. They're all federated in this way. Okay. So this is what federation means in terms of service providers.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is a centralized network is one service provider where all the users are connected, and
They are on the
decentralized
same
is,
provider. They are not connected
yeah,
with
yeah,
other provider.
yes,
It's
and
like
then
WhatsApp. So
yes,
WhatsApp
like
users can only talk to WhatsApp users.
mm,
That's centralization. Okay. And in telecom providers, for example, you can talk to any telecom provider all over the world. So that's federation of service
mhm.
providers. So this is one
So
example.
decentralization is where it is the same service provided, but they might have multiple server in multiple locations, and
No,
distributed
it's
is
not the
where
same service provider. It's
okay,
there can be different service providers based on the same protocol. So, for
hmm, hmm,
example, GSM or VoLTE, there can be many service providers. Or, for example, email. So there is Gmail, and but there are other providers also like Yahoo and uh, Outlook, and SFLC.in also has their own email.
hmm, understood.
Can
So
I
that's
quickly add,
federation of service.
add to
Sorry.
that?
Yeah, Nurdin, please go ahead.
So basically, the centralization, and that is decentralization. Centralization
Hmm,
is where uh, infrastructure, the data, content, and ownership owned by a single entity. So
hmm,
people talk about like get confused between the, like, what if they have different server? Does it decentralize and all those things? So it doesn't matter how many servers they have, or how many data, how many people owns, and all those things. It is who has the ownership of all of those things. Is it a single entity? So that's it. That is centralized, and there is decentralized, and there are different types of decentralization. One is you can have, so you can have, like, for example, let's take Facebook. You can have Facebook instance of, like, you can host, self-host this Facebook on it, and you can run it, and you can have your own instance, like, owned by, don't rely on Facebook to use the, that is one decentralization. And the problem
hmm,
uh, I have to access in,
I'm sorry,
Twitter,
Nurdin, your voice is
and I become
breaking a
a.
lot. I'm not able to pick up.
Is it better now?
Yeah, yeah.
Even all type of so it became centralized because the people have to access the which you use. And Facebook says that we connect people, like there are a lot of you communicate with each other through our platform. And since you have your instance, many people who access out your server communicate with the, it's like each have instance there, but not communicate with each other. That's the problem people feel in free society. And then to solve this type of centralized solve
Uh,
comes in,
Sorry,
and
Nurdin, your voice
called.
is still breaking a lot. I'm not able to, make. Meanwhile, so we now understood what's centralized technology and what is distribution, what is decentralization and federation. And it is very evident that the more centralized technology is, the control is more over one entity, either the state or the either it is the state or it could be a private entity or someone, and they have the control over the tech, and they can or prevent someone from communicating or accessing at any point of time. We have seen this in the case of internet itself, which was pretty much a decentralized one, but having a certain level of control over certain part of the network has made it very much you know uh, unaffordable, unaccessible, inaccessible, and um, we have lost control over it. People don't have 100% control over it. Similarly, we have also seen in the case of communication that emails, which were pretty much distributed federated systems, are now the communication from email to centralized platforms like WhatsApp or Telegram. We have moved to a certain place where it is more controlled by the private entities. And internet, again, as I said, is and can be controlled and being shut down by the state at any point of time. And internet shutdowns.in is a good example where SFLC have been tracking all the internet shutdowns that has been done by the state itself. So we understand that there is a need for the decentralization itself in the case of the whole internet or the network itself, as well as the technology within the network, such as messaging applications, communications, hosting videos and all of that. I would also like to know more about if you can give examples of such federated peer-to-peer technologies, be it messaging, be it video streaming. That would be helpful. Any of you, please.
So so I'm now.
Still bit breaking, but Nurdin, yeah, please go ahead.
So the federation, the like one instance you can communicate with it. So it is of the single instance in single room and to communicate with each other. And so there are a lot of federated platform. So for example, for video sharing like YouTube, PeerTube, you can search, and there is alternative for this called Mastodon, and there is uh, uh, Beacon is also one kind of decentralization where the like uh, and there is Mastodon, PeerTube, and fed for Instagram. Yeah, so there's this website called Fedi Universe where you can go and access it. There will be hosting the all the federated platforms in this. If someone create a new platform, they'll be adding that in, that details in that website. So you can go to that website and you can get all the federated platform in that website.
Definitely, Noordin. Also, Ravi, do you have anything to add to that? Do you have any other such federated, technologies that you would suggest? Which Prav you have already suggested, but any other technologies you want to suggest?
I think under the umbrella of Fediverse, Noor probably covered a lot of them, like Lemmy for Reddit, and even in Fediverse there are many. I don't even know how many types of software they have. For example, I think there's Miski, there's Akoma, and there's Instagram type Pixel Fed as well, which is federated. So I think these come to my mind other than the one just mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we have understood the need for such decentralized and federated systems. We have also seen such applications that those are existing in the ground. And I just wanted to know from your own personal experiences as an organization as well, what are the challenges that you think? I mean, we are running out of time. One quick question is that what do you think are the challenges that you're facing in for these such decentralized and distributed technologies to reach people? um, what are the hurdles that you're facing apart from the lack of awareness which you've already told?
For our Prav thing, uh, network effect is a big issue. If I ask you to install Prav app and even if you start using it, you also need to have your friends there. Otherwise, whom will you chat with? And then when everyone has WhatsApp, so breaking the network effects is hard. And they think, okay, I have to print this file, so they will send the person at the cyber cafe the file using WhatsApp. Okay, so breaking the network effects, I think, is one of the biggest thing, which is intertwined with raising awareness, and at the same time making a product which is polished enough for people, and running a service which is reliable uh, is also a factor, because we can like people run services all the time, but then either they are not sustainable, or it's very hard for services to be sustainable, and it's like it's a lot of cost and effort to run such services. Therefore, Prav is taking an effort to involve as many people as possible, so that we have we can ensure we have large number of people willing to switch, and make a social pressure as well. And in terms of funding also, I think that helps, because I mean there are so many people who are uh, committed to the product, right? So just for an example, right, there are other, like the graphic I shared on the top, on the bottom right, you will see this, and this bird logo is the pottery logo. And in pottery.com we are running the same service, but on a voluntary basis. We didn't plan all this stuff in advance on how to get funded and how to organize more and more people. We just started running it, and now we think that that's a kind of a very disorganized way of running it, even though the service is still running. But the challenge is running a sustainable service, running a reliable service with not many resources for people who are running it, because We're not big corporations. We don't have venture capitalists funding our projects, and also the network effects with such things.
Yeah, definitely, Ravi. I understand the network effect and the funding for the project, the capital for the project itself are two major hurdle. I am pretty sure for Nuruddin, for mesh network as well, for network, it would definitely be the same reasons more than what Ravi would have faced, because network installation requires a lot of hardware and capital involved there. So if you have your input on that, that would be good.
Yeah.
And also, if you can add to what as an individual we can do to support mesh network and such federated system, that would also be.
Okay. So yeah, as you said, uh, funding and so as you said, funding and capital is a challenging. So that's one part, and the other part is, since we are working with the low literate community and marginalized community, only about 4% of Dalit and marginalized population has the access to the computer and internet itself. And even with the access, the internet is not inclusive for them. That is one aspect. And as I said before, the federated platform, so which we want to host it in the local network, is not designed for the local network. So it is designed for the federation in the internet uh, public infrastructure. And so we federate if it is a local host internet to the internet is also a biggest challenge, which yet to be discussed by the federated community itself. So that's the one of the challenge which is stopping us to use the federated model, even though if it is federated, it cannot federate since it is hosted in the local network. And again, as I said before, the localization, it's not just a translation, it is also creating from the perspective of the uh, local people and culture. As I said before, uh, what does it mean for a woman, working woman in a rural village, who doesn't see a trash bin before if we keep trash bin as an icon? That's one of the example. So these are the challenges we face in the mesh network. Did I answer your
Uh,
question?
yes, definitely, Nuruddin. One quick question. Not question actually. One request to everybody to do explore such federated distributed systems and do support them and use them as much as possible to take back the control over such technologies and preventing them from monopolizing. And as we are running out of time, I'll quickly would like to say that close this with saying the the democracy promises distribution of rights to the people, uh, and as a citizen we have those rights. Yet the way technology has been transforming, it is in the tech era, it is being taken away from us in the in within such technologies, and we have to do our best to retain them back. uh, Even though free software and open source movements have provided as much as possible uh, these rights, but the tech itself and the era has evolved in a way that it is no more completely relevant yet, though it is still relevant, but it's not completely relevant yet. So we have to look at beyond free software, beyond open source, and to an extent of federated systems, networks, and applications as well. So I would say to keep up the open source spirit, the free software spirit, we have to keep innovating. We have to keep rationally thinking and critically thinking about these technologies. And definitely, as our constitution says, it's our duty to inculcate scientific temper within each and every one of us as a citizen, and free software is part of that, inculcating the or keeping up the spirit of scientific temper, which is being uh, you know uh, uh, which is being which is being stopped, or slowed down by proprietary softwares. And we have to support free software and keep up the scientific temper spirit as much as possible. And with this day, our open source week celebration ends, but our open source and free software spirit doesn't end here. We'll continue supporting free software as much as possible. SFLC has committed towards free software, and we have been supporting these communities as much as possible from our side. And we like to, we expect the same. If at all any free software community require any kind of support, you can reach out to us. We are happy to help any legally whatever you require. As much as possible, we'll support you. uh, Finally, Ravi and Nuruddin, thank you both of you so much for joining us today in a Friday evening on a week. I mean, it's about to be weekend, and you're joining with within your tight schedules. I would like to thank you all. Thank you both, as well as for everybody who has been traveling with us this whole week, joining us, and supporting this event be a success. I thank everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vignesh.
Thanks a lot, Vignesh.